Welcome to Dr. Z Show. This show is about spirituality and films, and in every show we invite a guest to talk about spiritual experiences. So today we have Michael Austin in our show. Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
And Michael is the founder of Soul Rider, and he's also the producer of the Final Transition Conference. So we're going to talk to Michael about consciousness and Gaia. So Michael, I saw your LinkedIn page and you talk about Gaia and consciousness. So our audience wants to know, what is Gaia?
We got a few hours. Gaia is an old concept that's been revived in the past 4 decades or so. And scientifically it was brought to light by people who are doing scientific research. And it's an old concept that science didn't think of. And it's that we are embedded in the earth, we are part of the earth, and we are beholden to the earth. Simple. There it is.
So you also talk on your LinkedIn page about Egyptian antiquities, and I was quite interested in that. So what are those?
Well, I have a very good friend who is with us in the studio today, whose family owns a very large collection of Amarna period Egyptian antiquities, and they had asked me to investigate the possibility of selling them. I said, sure, let's talk about that. So that's what that is.
Okay, so how is the Egyptian antiquities related to the consciousness and Gaia work which you are doing?
As humans, we are the same now as we were thousands and even hundreds of thousands of years ago. We have the same needs, we have the same desires, and what people did in Egypt spiritually is very similar to what we do now, but they have different words for it. I grew up in an area which was actually country. There was a housing tract and so forth. But I spent much of my early years hanging out with animals. You know, I had a mom and dad who were outdoors people. I had snakes, I had a hawk, I had a barn owl. I had all kinds of animals that I would keep for a while and then release. And the experience of being around them is much different than being in civilization. And they have things they can teach you and vice versa. So it was a very spiritual experience, in short.
So you said that you lived kind of with animals growing up. So did you had any story which you want to tell us, like a particular story, something happened to an animal, or you connected with an animal?
There are lots of those. I held an Arizona sidewinder with a friend when I was 17. He was studying then to be a herpetologist. And my favorite animals, I should say stories about animals, are usually dogs. Dogs are very smart. Dogs are something that everybody can relate to. And the difference between them and a wild animal is that the animal's wild and you don't necessarily connect on them in the same way. But dogs came from wolves. Dogs came from other species that were, like them. So I wouldn't know where to start with that. I frequently have what I would call a telepathic connection with animals. It's easy. You can do it with people too. Why not with animals? Actually, one good story occurs one day. I'm walking with my son and his 2 dogs, and we're walking where we used to live. We had a lot of coyotes there. The coyotes are very smart and they're very fast. And we're walking by a Mormon temple, and just past the Mormon temple is a big barranca which fronts our house. The barranca is a small valley, basically. Lots of animals, lots of vegetation there. We walk up to the edge of the barranca, and just as we do, this coyote walks up to about 10 feet away and stops there and looks at us. He's sizing up the dogs going, oh, there's dinner. What, can I get away with this? And I went, okay, I don't like the looks of this guy. And he was fearless. I had to wave my hands and hollered, and he goes, okay, fine, I'm not going to deal with you. And he walks away. He didn't run, he walked away. We're embedded in the ecosystem. We are part of the planet, and that's the experience of Gaia that I want to remind people about. Simple.
Mm-hmm. So where does this word Gaia comes from?
You know, it's a Greek word. I'm not sure about the etymology, where it is derived from exactly, but it got popular when a couple of scientists about 40 years ago decided that the Earth had positive feedback loops, which allowed it to react to inputs on different parts of the globe. Okay? Now, those scientists were careful to say, no, we don't say that the Earth is thinking or it's conscious, which I disagree with. I think the Earth is conscious. But they said there are feedback loops here. Now, all of the native traditions and all of the Aboriginal traditions would say, of course it is, right? You go to the rainforest, people live there would say, yeah, of course it's living, right? My favorite example of that is some of the dust that feeds the South American rainforest comes from African deserts. How does it get there? It blows through the air. Simple. They've done studies on this. So everything is connected to everything else. And the dust that gets to the African rainforest, the South American rainforest, actually feeds those rainforests and feeds the animals because it has to go into minerals, right? Everything's connected. So.
Yeah. So when we say everything is connected, so you are saying that human beings are connected to animals, and we are also connected to the forests. So we should not be afraid of other species, because I think it is a fear of a human being, like, oh, this animal is going to harm me or something. But as you are saying that, if we try to telepathically connect with other species, that fear can be eliminated, and coming together with all the other species, how wonderful that would be.
It's easy. Animals tend to react to you and what you're putting out. We all put out electromagnetic fields. The animals know that. They can see that and feel that. There's been recent research that's done that said that animals can see UV, ultraviolet light. So we don't normally see those things. But animals react to you. If you're calm, they're going to be calm. I have a friend who, since he was young, could walk up to pretty much any reptile and just pick him up. No reptile being afraid. So there are lots of ways to connect with different variety of animals. This came up yesterday when a good friend of mine and her son picked up a gopher snake. I said they didn't pick it up. They filmed it. And somebody got freaked out. Oh, be careful, it's going to bite you. I said, no, it's a gopher snake. It's going to hurt you. They're not venomous. It was calm. You can see the pictures. Gopher snake, they didn't freak out. It's right there, right? And I went, it's okay, relax. Now, it turns out the woman that reacted that way was a museum docent who had handled animals. But her perception was, make sure that people freak out so they leave the animal alone. Well, that's okay, but that doesn't help anybody.
When I'm doing meditations I have thought a lot about it, and it has brought up to me from different people that animals are on a lower level of spirit or something, but I believe that they are more on a higher level of spirit, because human beings need a language, and we have a tongue, and we can speak, and we can create all these different languages, but I think animals do not need that, and they can communicate in whatever they have to communicate and live spiritually.
I agree with that. And just because you have a literate language doesn't mean that you're any smarter. And animals communicate very effectively. There's many, many research studies about this. Crows, for example, remember for years, even if they haven't been someplace, what somebody looks like. They know. Their kin tell them what they look like. So if the person that's been around them is nasty, they'll say, stay away from this person. Crows do this. It's been tested, okay? Dolphins, it was recently found out, communicate in 3D images. Who knew that? Okay? So I generally find that most animals communicate in pictures. It's natural. And there's even a guy, Leonard Schlein, who did research about language, and he said, look, we became violent as a species about the same time we got a literate language. We got an alphabet. We started reducing our experience into an alphabet. We can't do that. There are many forms of communication. It's not only linguistic. So I agree with what you're saying. And you can have the same experience of an animal if you just don't talk, right?
So in this show, we talk about films, and we talk about spirituality. So what is your favorite film?
So in this context, one that comes to mind is Medicine Man, with Sean Connery and Lauren Bracco. And the plot line is, cranky, old, smart scientist in the rainforest is trying to research and find a cure for cancer. And he finds it at the last possible moment, but the plot complication is people want to destroy the rainforest and literally burn it and raze it. He's fighting against time. So it's a very good movie. And it's sort of a metaphor for what we're doing on the planet. We're causing problems because we're so smart that we know what to do, but we are like children because we don't know what the consequence of what we're doing is. So daily choices make or break the world. It's that simple.
This show is about spirituality. So if you want to get a spiritual reading, you can email me at drzshow@gmail.com. Again, drzshow@gmail.com. And we give a spiritual affirmation in every show to our audience. So today's spiritual affirmation is, Michael, today we talked about animal consciousness. So, would you like to tell us something to our audience which they can take home with them?
Yeah, live on the planet and go connect with it. And because you're afraid of an animal means that they're afraid of you. I've held lots of animals, including a rattlesnake, a hawk, and an owl. And if you do it the right way and you got the right coaching, it's a fun experience and you will be a better person for doing it. So just go connect with nature. Simple.
Connect with nature, connect with animals, and thank you for watching Dr. Z Show.